Yeah. I'm gonna do another Zootopia 2 video, so what? But this time, you guys, I'll be checking out the Q&A. You know, just hanging out with Jared, Byron, Yvette. You guys know I met them before, so let's see their Q&A for this one, you guys. I'm very excited. I'm here at Santa Monica yet again. I was here last time for Inside Out 2, and it did pretty good. Kelsey man was awesome. And Meg LaFon was also great. And yeah, today will be pretty good, I will say, hopefully. We'll wait and see. Yes, it's the, I can't even say it right, but this is Judy Hopps right here. This is amazing. This is really nice. Hi. Very lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, Carl Hauser, are you taking care of the streets right now?
Absolutely.
Thankfully, there's no traffic here, so you'll be okay. No, this is really awesome. I love it so much, man. Good morning, America.
Yay.
I like that news program.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you. Got the popcorn and everything. The drinks are all included, so it'll be interesting. Nice.
But yeah, no parking around here is not exactly traffic.
How are you? All right, we got the hard part done. We got here RSVPs, tickets. Everybody's freaking out, but we are here. We're all excited. This is the most exciting crowd I've seen since Leonardo DiCaprio was here. Zootopia 2, everyone. Hey. Awesome. So many people dressing up. I love it. It's so great. I love cosplay for Zootopia. Thank you all for coming here. We have a packed house today. Let's give a round of applause to Disney. Disney. So that's exciting. How many people have seen Zootopia 1? Everybody.
Yeah.
How many people have seen Zootopia 1 more than once?
Yeah.
Everybody. Okay. This is the crowd. All right, awesome. I want to say that we've got a great Q&A following this with the two directors, Jared Bush and Byron Howard, as well as the producer, Yvett Merino. So they'll be here. So stick around, please, following the screen. Let's give one more round of applause to Nick up in the booth. He is running the movie. All right, that's it. So, no cell phones, okay? We take that seriously here. No one wants to look at their cell phone. This is the best part of the day, right up here on the screen. So, without further ado, Zootopia 2.
You see my start second, third, fourth, fifth time, anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to those who've joined us for the first time, pretty delightful movie, right? Understatement. I'm David King with the Hollywood Report. Thank you all so much for being here. We've got an amazing panel, starting with the writer and director, Jared Bush. Producer, Yvett Merino. And director,
Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming out. It's awesome to see everybody together in a theater. This is great. So thank you guys for coming out.
Let's start there, because this movie is a bona fide phenomenon. I think we can say this here around the world. And that's what you hope for when you make a movie like this, right? That people will be in a theater like this, super excited, really taking it in, coming maybe second or third times. Like, talk about when you go into making a movie like this, what it feels like when you get that kind of reception on the other side.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, we've heard us talk about our process before, if you like, these kind of movies, because we spend a lot of time in isolation. In one, we have two buildings, one in Vancouver and one in Burbank, but we have, you know, a team of about 750 plus people that we worked with over a period of between 3 to 5 years on these films. So we're in the first film, Jared and I was on it for 6, which is a crazy long time. But the fact that we spend so much time internally, like looking at this movie over and over again, it is honestly a delight to have a movie go out in the public and have people who've never seen it really react to it. To be in the theater with you guys is pretty emotional and incredible, because honestly, in the pandemic, we missed that so much. So to see this audiences come back is so great.
Yeah, I think as Byron said, we work on these movies so much, and we put so much heart and soul into it. And in our studio, we had over 700 people work on it, but we had over 1,000 people who kind of work in operations and finance and all the other departments who really kind of support us so we can get the film out the door. And so, you know, I always like think of it as it's our little secret for a while once it's done, and then we release it to the world, and it's so like heartfelt to actually hear the reactions and have people connect to it the way they have it.
So, this is to me the opposite of a phoned-in sequel, right? The amount of artistry and detail we see in this movie is pretty extraordinary. And while you have been working, you know, in earnest, very detailed, very, you know, dedicated to this movie for the last 4+ years, I believe, you've been building out this world for far longer. So even when you take us back to the initial conversations around Zootopia, as you're building out this world, as you started to figure out what this second film would look like?
Well, I can talk a little bit. First off, you may know or may not know, Byron hired me for the first Zootopia 14 years ago, and he won't shut up about it. But even back then, as we started to build out this world, it was just this unbelievably expansive world of animals. And I think we always thought, even back then, no matter where you put a camera in the city, there was something exciting to watch, something interesting to learn, to think about. And so as we stepped into this next story, we always thought that reptiles would be part of this movie. In the first film, it was really dealing with predator and prey dynamics. Those dynamics are very clean in the mammal world. In the reptile world, less so. So that's why you didn't see reptiles in the first film. But we thought it would be great to really lean into why in this story, and to really make sure that we're always focused on this relationship between Judy and Nick, who are very different. Not only the type of animals they are, but the way they see the world. And we like the fact that we could parallel their relationship with the relationship between mammals and reptiles.
So, as you're getting into the nitty-gritty of what that looks like exactly, I'm curious maybe even how the reception to the first movie, your experience making the first movie, informed then exactly how you approach that with the second one.
Oh, well, yeah, it's funny, because we, again, if you guys know our process, we iterate, we put these movies together over and over and over again in storyboard form. If you've ever seen one of our audience previews, which is the first time that we ever take the films out to the public, a lot of that, what you'll see is storyboard. I think that for our preview, we had about 75% of the film in storyboard, which is just rough pencil drawings, cut together with temp score, and we try to get as many of the actors in there as possible, but it really is a proving ground for us to see what's working and what's not. And usually a lot's not working, we have to do a lot of rethinking. But honestly, the thing that really came up there and then for us over and over again is that Judy and Nick needed to be at the center of the story. That was what really made people fall in love with the first film, that relationship, that contrast. So we had to make sure not to lose that, and not only not to lose it, but to go further with it. And Jared wrote this really amazing, very ambitious script that everyone loved. It was enormous and huge, but you know, even the most kind of great personal things, like that conversation that they have, the overshare on top of the wall. He wrote that very early, and so that's all yes, right? It's so good. It's so good. And Jimmy and Jason just acted the heck out of it. And so you know, and that was one of our tentpoles. Honestly, that landed, and we all believed in it. And we knew no matter where that was located, whether it was on the top of the cliff or the top of the weather wall, that scene was really critical to those two, and for the audience kind of going on that journey and going further into their relationship. So we changed things a lot. I think we really try to listen, all of us as leadership, to great ideas can come from anywhere. It's really about telling the best story, so it doesn't have to come from us. Yeah. And it really is really about creating something that feels satisfying and a growth from the first movie.
Well, and also what Byron said is we do make these stories for audiences. That's critical to us. My whole childhood, my favorite memories were going to a theater with a lot of people and laughing with everyone, or crying with everybody, or everyone having the jump scare at the same time. It's a critical part of what we do that we love. And so as we're listening to our audiences, that really matters to us. Because ultimately we want to have this shared experience, and it's so hard to come across.
I'm curious, even when we'll get to specific new characters in a moment, but there are so many characters in this film, and you know, there is a real, you mentioned the enormous crew you guys are working with, there's a real rigorous artistry to creating every character. So are you having conversations about how big you can feasibly make this world?
Yes, every day.
That would be her headache.
Well, you know, because it is a sequel, we did have the benefit of our main characters designed already. We had the world somewhat, you know, defined from the first film. So in that sense, we knew who our mains were, so we didn't spend, you know, months and months iterating on them. But there are a lot of characters, but part of this world that makes it feel so real is that it feels lived in. It feels like a city, or it feels like an area. Marsh Market, for example, was a brand new area with brand new types of animals that we put in these semi-aquatic animals who live above water and below water. And that was an interesting kind of conversation in there, because we didn't really have a human equivalent to that, right? We don't have areas where we live below water. Maybe we do, but I don't know about them. So, you know, our design team, you know, kind of broke it open and said, hey, what if this could be anything, what would it be? But, you know, to the characters, so many, we knew it was important, so we really started very early on about just building characters and doing walk cycles and finding personalities of the different type of animals and their characters. And so all of that is kind of stuff that was in our film.
Yeah, well, I'd say in addition to that, we really needed to think through why any new animal was coming in. So we didn't just say, we like that animal, bring him in. A character like Pauper, who you just saw, is a lynx. Why do we have a lynx coming in the story? Because this is a story with reptiles. Reptiles need warmth. Lynxes are cold weather animals. And out in the real world, lynxes, 90% of their diet is rabbits.
Yeah.
That. A lynx is a feline, a fox is a canine, and we like that as well. And so we really were, you know, a quokka is the cutest thing in the world, and so quokka being an animal therapist felt right. I think the only one that came late, and Yvett made this possible, we did say, hey, in Marsh Market, we'd like to have a dolphin do a spit take out of the boat.
Love that dolphin.
Sure, though.
They're mammals. They count.
We didn't have a dolphin built.
We didn't have one built, and she found a way to make it possible. So you can
just
thank that for
Yeah.
that.
Well, that one joke. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes. I love dolphins.
To stay with the Marsh Market for a moment, I would love to kind of just go top to bottom there. It's incredible to watch the sequences, but also there is, it seems to me, just a kind of boundless imagination in how you build a world like that. So talk about how you kind of started and then how you filled it out.
Well, I think one of the things we figured out from this is what you went about earlier when we were in the first film. That first film told us that the trouble of leaning in to really thinking like the animals would in this world actually really paid off in a big way. Like those multi-scale doors on the trains, all that stuff. It's a pain to build and to design. It's very expensive, as Yvett knows. But it really is what it kind of makes you look. It grounds the world for you and really makes you believe that to your point, you could like step into this world. It's a place where these animals actually have to live. So Marsh Market is the same way. Like it's a above water and subwater environment. And so even those the tubes, which are so entertaining and so great for that action sequence, are very practical transportation for water animals like hippos and seals to get across town. And what I also love, for those of you who've seen the film multiple times, our production designer, Corey Loftus, and his team hit tons of in-jokes in that area. A lot of people were asking us in previous screenings, what about the fish? What about the fish in this world who get eaten? Why does that happen? But you know, one of the things is that fish are food in this world, and there's actually a Nemo nod on one of the signs.
Yes.
Fish are food back there, so if you look there, next to our friends at Pixar. So you know, there's all sorts of stuff. It's very dense, and the fact that it feels so immersive. But honestly, to Jared's point earlier, you could put a camera anywhere in there, and really, you can tell the whole story right in that film.
Yeah, I will say we did do something very different on this film than past films. We did something that we call a story jam, which is where we got the entire story department. Just so you guys know, story artists, they're like writers, but usually it's hand-drawn sketches, and that's really where we lived for the first few years. But we brought not just our crew of stories on, but the entire department, everybody in Disney Animation. We brought animators in and visual development artists, and we just said, we have this new location, we like the idea, we have no idea what's going to happen there, we don't know what animals are there. Let's just spend a few hours and spitball. You can make anything you want. It doesn't have to have any bearing on the lore of the world and what's canon, what's not canon, just have fun. And that's really how we started to build that in the first place. That that crazy walrus that has the boat thing on his belly. Someone drew that and he said, yes, we will build that disgusting thing.
I will live there, actually.
There's some ideas we can't talk about today. No kids yet, so we will leave those alone.
Noted. Journalists who really wants to cry, but let's talk about Gary for a moment.
Oh, yes.
This is just to me an all-time like great match of actor, character, voice character. But at what point did you kind of notice that you had the perfect eye for it?
No, go ahead.
Well, I will say that there was never anyone else we thought of other than Key. So early on, we knew that we were going to bring reptiles into the story. And Zootopia is known for flipping tropes, and we wanted to bring in a snake, and not just any snake, a very highly venomous pit viper. And we wanted this character to be the emotional core of the story. And I was actually, after Key won the Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is amazing, he did a terrific job. I saw him on Colbert, and Colbert had him on to interview with him, and he's just like sunshine in the form of a human being. It's unbelievable. And so I was like, man, it has to be this guy. And Adam Green, who actually led the animation for Gary, also saw that and animated Gary on Colbert's stage. So the first time we ever saw Gary moving around and talking was Key's interview with Steve Colbert. And so we had the whole scene. At some point that will go out into the world. It is amazing. Like, it is so endearing and fun, and immediately you go, I care about this guy. He's an underdog, and I want him to succeed and want him to be okay.
Yeah, that's worth saying too, because Jared already had Gary's story at the center of the plot of the movie, but as Key came in, everyone fell in love with him, and everyone was like, I feel more for Gary, I want to know more about Gary, I want to know about Gary's family, where are they? Is he the last snake? Is there a possibility that his family could come back? So those discussions happened because Key's performance was so great. He's the most just genuine winning guy, and so that's something, again, with Jimmy and Jason bring to Hops and Nick. They push us to a new level. As soon as we get them in the room, we really do work with them, and they are creating those characters with us. So that was Key's big heart was a huge reason why Gary works.
Oh, I should also mention, this is true, so around the middle of the movie, about 2/3 way through, when Judy is not doing well and Gary's about to freeze to death, he says this line, permission to hug. And Key really liked that. And then as we were finishing up the movie, he said, I think it would be really nice if he said it one more time when his family shows up. And so that was Key's idea, to have that come back again. It's such a beautiful emotional moment. That's because he's that kind of guy.
It's another great example of the kind of iterative process you're talking about, where you bring somebody like that in, and it does inform the character, and you have the flexibility, I would think, to write to that in a way, right? Let's talk about Nibbles as well.
Yes.
Fortune is brilliant in that part,
Yes.
but it's also, to me, a great example of a character who is sort of slyly speaking to the world we live in. I'll leave it at that. But talk about, especially from the writing standpoint, like, how you slip that stuff in, maybe.
Oh man. Well, I mean, Fortune was also the only person that we ever considered. I think Fortune is hilarious. We wanted a character who, could speak truths, but be what we call like a chaos agent. She comes to this movie and she is just a wrecking ball, specifically for Nick. One of the really fun things about Nick in the first movie is that he knew the city like the back of his hand. He could take Judy anywhere, and so that's where he kind of got his value in the first movie. In this one, they're going to places that Nick has never been before, that Nibbles has to take them around to, and that makes Nibbles very important, much to Nick's chagrin. Now, Nibbles is also somebody who gets things right a lot of times, gets things wrong some of the times, right? She has a real, deep opinion about the existence of jackalopes in this world, so not always somebody you should listen to constantly, but she is oddly emotionally attuned, and that, obviously, as you guys saw in the prison sequence, is so important, but there's something with a character like this that you have to believe in. And as much as she is this chaos agent, when she really sort of irises down and that, certainly in the prison sequence, you go, oh, this is somebody who really cares and has a really good opinion. And it's easy to it's easy to feel like she's not going to be the one to lean on although she becomes that. So, this is really a story about these different friendships that, that are formed over the course of the story. And when Nick is separated from Judy, he really needs Nichols, and I think that Forrest is the only one that could pull that off.
In the big picture conversations around this movie, we're talking about wanting to really deepen Judy and Nick's relationship, and this film also touches on, I think, a surprisingly deep, reservoir of themes, just about how we live together, right? When you are making a film like this, how are you talking about the way you want this movie to land along those lines, the way you want bigger ideas to come through while also still obviously entertaining everybody?
I mean, I think it's, we've talked a lot about it. It's just a very iterative process. We talked a lot very early on about what we want this film to be about and what we want to say. And it was always really about Judy and Nick and their differences and how they kind of view, discover those differences in each other and, and how they get through it. But it really is, such an iterative process. We sit for hours in the story room with our story team, and then we screen it and we get feedback from our whole entire studio. We have a process in our studio that everybody sees the film and everybody's allowed to send in their feedback. And we gather that feedback and we go through it and we talk about it and really making sure that our, kind of what we want to say or the story we want to tell is in there.
And I'd say one thing that happens with that evolution as we're watching the movie come together, well, there will be themes that come in organically from the story, and the story will actually tell us what those themes are. I would say that was true of the first one as well, but with Gary and the differences between Nick and Hobbs, that really was great for us, because as we were screening, we could ask our audience, at the studio, and people who were seeing the film on our crew, and asking them what they thought the theme was. And sometimes they'd pick out 3 or 4 that sounded pretty good, but they'd lock into different stuff. So that tells us we need to kind of go through and really scrub the movie to refine exactly what's being said, because audiences are really perceptive. They will lock on to something important and hold that as that key idea. But if we're not clear enough about what we're saying, then you lose some of the emotion, you lose the punch, you lose the meaning of the film. So rather than going into it with we're gonna say this with this film, it really does kind of come from these collective decisions that kind of push us down a little clear path.
I'll also say, I don't want to give credit to Byron, but when I first joined Disney Animation 14 years ago, he said to me something that has stuck with me ever since. The ability to be able to make a movie is an extreme luxury. As a creative person, it's winning the lottery. It's the greatest dream come true. And if you get to make a movie, you're incredibly lucky to do so. But he said, given that, and given the fact that these stories go around the world, they have to matter. So if you could only tell one story, and that story's going to go around the world, what is it? What do you want to say to everybody? And I think one of the most important things we can do with our stories is just start a conversation, help people to think. Obviously, we want you to have an amazing, really entertaining time. This movie's chock full of fun. We want people to laugh. We want them to enjoy back. But I think ultimately, a story that helps you think is critical.
This is also it is her birthday.
It's her birthday.
Oh, yeah. While we are setting this up, I was wondering if you guys could help us out and sing.
Oh, yes. We got to, yeah. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ed. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
What is it?
What is it? What you got? What you got?
Oh, very delightful.
For everyone.
No thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Yay! Happy birthday, Yvette!
All the feather.
I like the outfit. With the park, Judy.
Watch the fire. Yvette, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, man.
will go in every way possible, and I love it.
Hey.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I love these guys.
This is like a Thanksgiving reunion, but better.
That was awesome. That was great.
So you guys, that happened. The Q&A was awesome. I got to reunite with Jared, Byron, Yvette. Finally got our photo together. So it's great though. It's the main crew of Zootopia. And the 700 other people working on it. That's amazing. So yeah, I'll be heading home very soon, you guys, because tomorrow I'm going to do the Fallout premiere, which I'm pretty excited for as well. I'm just happy to see the others again, you know. Something I need for the holiday season, because it's been a rough week for me, you guys. I don't want to explain why, but all I can say is it's been great. And there's a Whole Foods. Maybe I should get something for a bit. Yeah, Whole Foods. So, for Amy, actually, thanks again. Thanks again for this popcorn. I needed the popcorn, so I'll be heading out now. Yeah, so overall today has been pretty good. So yeah, finally made it to my car safely and soundly. Is that a word? I'll make those words now. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and everything. Shout out to Jared, Byron, and also Yvette. Happy birthday, Yvette. It's been fun. So I'll be driving back home and then come back here tomorrow just for Fallout. So it's going to be a great weekend, I would say-ish, even though it's going to be Monday tomorrow. For all of you guys, thank you guys for watching, and you guys take care, comment, subscribe, and also stay safe as well. And happy holidays, I guess.